Okay, let's review our exam 1. So this is for your class, because 3 classes, each one has different exams. This is a given formula. Let's review this formula first. So we're given a couple formulas, right? Let's just try to recognize these formulas before we start doing the questions. The first one is one-time interest, right? One-time investment. So we don't see time because time here is one, just one time. So this is a one-time investment. And one time, the interest will be calculated. So it's just one time. The case is like you loan money from your friend where you promise to pay back in a month. And then you want to offer a certain interest rate, this little r here. So how much money you are getting after a month, right? So this is for one time. The second one is a simple interest, right? Multiple times. It depends on T, right? R is interest, P naught. P naught is always your initial investment. So the simple interest. The principal stays the same and the interest rate stays the same. So in a certain period of time, the interest rate is offered, and then this T counts how many times interest will be calculated. And then after a certain time, that's the total money you get. So this is the interest, right? I is the first letter of interest. So this same thing. This calculates interest. This is the amount of money after a certain time. This amount of money is one time you're getting back. So 3 is compound. Like compound interest. Right? Remember, compound means maybe in a year, maybe you invest money for 5 years, and every month the interest being calculated, then added to your principal. So your principal means your initial investment keeps changing. This increases. Right? N represents how many years your money in the account. Pn represents how much money after n years. K is how many times the interest being calculated and added to your principal. So the compound interest. So 4 is a retirement. It's called annuity for this book. Right? Basically, retirement. People saving money for retirement. And this is how much money you have in the account after n years. So D represents the deposit, right? So maybe you deposit each month. For me, myself, I deposit, it's deducted from my paycheck every 2 weeks, because I get a paycheck every 2 weeks. So the money for my retirement is automatically deducted from my paycheck. So that's my deposit. So with this formula, right? So all this, what do we have for those 4? Is all saving money, right? So this is like getting more money. So this is a saving money. So the account, so this A increases, getting bigger than P naught. Your amount of money after you get interest is more than your initial investment. Same thing here. After n years, that's the money you're getting back is much greater than your initial investment. Same thing here. You saved up for your retirement for n years. It's much bigger than your deposit. So 5 is different from all the previous 4. 5, it could be your payout annuity. So, when you become old, you have saved up in your account retirement fund, and now you're starting to take out the money. It's called payout, or used for loans for car loans, for student loans, or for mortgage, right? For retirement, this is how much money you have saved up in your retirement. Now you're starting to withdraw. So this little d is confusing. D actually here is not deposit. I would rather use W, right, to mean withdraw money. Right? So now you're starting to withdraw money from this retirement fund. So this amount of money decreases. So all this increases after a certain time. Only 5 decreases. You start with some money in the account. You started to take out. So this money gets smaller, smaller, smaller until it becomes 0. So that's for payout annuity, or for you withdraw from your retirement fund. Another way of using it is for loans, mortgage loans, car loans, student loans. In that scenario, you owe this much money in the beginning, or you loan this amount of money in the beginning. And maybe every month or every 2 weeks or every week you pay back, right? So this D becomes your payback money. You're able to make this payment in a month or in weeks. So you're paying back the loans. So that's why your loans become smaller, smaller, less and less. In the end, you pay off. You don't have any loans anymore. So 5 is different from all the previous 4. All right, now I think we're ready to start to do the questions. Let me clear all this. Okay, remember also, let's recall what have we done in class. One way is that we apply in applications in word problems of the previous formulas. Or another thing we have learned is about the percentage. Percent, right? Percent, we use this sign, percentage sign. What does this sign mean? It means 1/100. In calculation, we use 0.01. And then we learn the rate, right? Especially unit rate. Let's say you can drive 50 miles per hour, 50 miles per 1 hour. And sometimes we use rate to set up a proportion equation to solve for related questions. Let's see the first question. First question is saying someone left a $25 tip on $108 restaurant bill. So the question is asking, what percent tip is that? To ask the percentage of tip is that. So what do? We do 25 divided by 108. Right? It says use a calculator. Use a calculator. So I'm going to use calculator, okay. Do 28 in your calculator, do 28 divide, no, not 28, 25. Do 25 divided by 108. Then what do you get? 25 divided by, yes. So 25 divided by 108. So I get, sometimes the calculator doesn't, sometimes the calculator lies. Okay, when I first press in, I get a 0.1. I know that was not right. So I did the second time. So do use your judgment when you use calculators. Okay, so now I get a 0.23148, right? 148 and 148. So I'm going to keep like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decimal places. Now I want to convert this into percentage because they're asking me what percent. How do I convert into percentage? Remember I multiply by 100% because 100% is 1, right? Because 100% means 100 divided by 100, or something divided itself means 1. I can always multiply a number by 1. So in this case, when I multiply 0.23148 by 100, I move the decimal 2 places, right? That becomes 23.148. Then I keep the percentage sign. Usually we don't keep, so after we get decimals, we only keep like 2 decimal places. So I can round this to 23.15%. Okay, if your answer is around this number, I also, consider it right. And some people did this way. Let me use different color. Because in one video I show this, but that question is asking what percent tip is the payment, right? The payment means 25 plus 108. So if the denominator is 108 plus 25, I would consider that to be right also. Now that's the first part. Right? Now let's see second part. Second, so this question has 2 parts. Second part is asking how much will the total bill be, including tip and 6.1 tax. So the restaurant bill is 108 plus the tip 25, right? We add those two together. How much do we get? 108 plus 25, 133, isn't it? Because 25 plus 8 is 33. So I get 133. Then depends on, I forgot if a restaurant charges the tip with tax or not. Maybe not, right? So that's the restaurant bill plus the tip. Now I have to calculate the tax. So how do I calculate the tax? The 108 multiplied by 6.1%. 108, well, in the calculator, we do have percent sign actually. Let me try that. Let me try with a percent sign. So if I go to my calculator, I do 108 multiplied by 6.1, then I hit the percent sign. Well, that gives me 0.06. So 108, so I still have to do this. So it's better to do this. It's better to tell yourself, okay, that's 108 multiplied by 0.061. Right, because percent is 0.01, remember? It's 0.01. So that means when I forget about this one, I gotta move the decimal 2 places to the left. So I get a 0.061, multiply those 2 numbers. Now I hit into a calculator. So 108 multiplied by 0.061. Well, you see, my calculator gives me 711. No, I know that's wrong. I use my, judgment. So I get 108 multiplied by 0.061. Now it gives me the right number. So 6.59 cents. I get a 588. But because money-wise, only up to cents. So what do? I carry this A into 1. So change this to be $6.59. Right. Now I have the restaurant bill plus the tip. Now plus this one. So 133 plus this 9, 5, 6 plus 3, I get 9. So the second one, the answer is the total payment will be $139.59. Of course, it's money, so I carry on with a dollar sign in the end. So the first part of the question, the answer is this, right? So what percent tip is that? Is 23.15%. And the second part, how much the total bill, including 6.1 tax, is $139.59. Okay, that's the first question. Now let's see the second one. A sample sells items that have been marked down by 45%. Right? That means 45% off. If the item is $100, right, or $45 off, so you only have to pay $55. So they're having a sale advertising additional 65% off. That means you have to pay 35% of that. So that's the question. The question is asking what percent of the original price do you end up paying? do you end up paying? It's not what's the equivalent. So other question could be asked as what percent of the original price, what percentage equivalent to those two markdowns, right? That was the one in the practice review. But this one is asking what percent of the original price do you end up paying? Well, let's see. 45% off, right? That means we use 100% minus this one to get 55%, because that means we have to pay 55% of the original. Now, out of all this, so now the price, let's see the original price is X. So that's how much we have to pay after 45% off. So now out of this price, additional 65% off. So if it's 65% off, we use 100% minus this, we get 35%. So we only have to pay 35% of this. So we multiply by 35% of this. So we end up getting 0.55 multiplied by 0.35 of the original price, carry on the original price. Right? You can make this X to be 100 to make the case easier. Okay, now I hit into a calculator. 0.55 multiplied by 0.35. I get a 0.1925 of the original price. Now I need to convert it into percentage sign. Move decimal, multiply by 100% again. I get 19.25% of the original price. We don't care about the original price, right? So what we care is what percent of the original price. So 19.25% of the original price will end up paying. So the answer is 19.25%. Now I have to erase something. So now question 3. Solve for X. So we want to solve for this X. Remember, cross multiply. Okay, cross multiply. So 11 times X, we get 11X. Then 3 equals to 3 times 121. Then we divide both sides by 11. 11X divided by 11, we get X. Okay. If you don't want to use a calculator, you can think this. 121 is 11 times 11, so we can simplify this too. 121 divided by 11, that's 11. 3 times 11, that's 33. Or you just hit it into a calculator, right? Do 3 times 121, then divide by 11. So the third one, the answer is 33. Right, so this is proportion equation. Right, proportion equation. The rate is 11 over 3, then 121 over X. Okay, let's see 6. You are on a training mission on jet that's flying 580 miles per hour. Remember to ignore the not important questions for us, not important part for us. So for us, we don't care if it's a training mission on the jet or something else, right? Let's see this, like a question 2. A sample cells, right? If this doesn't sound dear to your ear, you can change it to be a sweater. A sweater has been marked down by 45%. Same thing here. We don't care about the scenario itself. We care about, we're looking for the numbers and the logic in the question. So here we have 580 miles per hour. So that's given us a unit rate. 580 miles per hour means per 1 hour. So get this unit rate. The question is asking how many miles? How many miles? We set up an equation, proportion equation. How many miles? We don't know. We use X. Does it travel in 32 seconds? 32 seconds. So we need to do conversion. 1 hour, this is hour, this is seconds. We want to change hour to be seconds. Well, 1 hour equals to 60 minutes. right? And 1 minute equals to 60 seconds. So that means 1 hour equals to 60 times 60 seconds. 60 times 60, which is 3,600. Right, we have two zeros. 6 times 6, 36, carry on to the zeros, so get 3,600. So we change this 1 hour to be, let me erase. So we convert this 1 hour into 3,600 seconds. Now the units aligned. So now we can do the calculation. Right? Once the units aligned, we just do cross multiplication. So we cross multiply, forget about units. So we get 3,600 times x, that equals to 580 times 32. 580 multiplied by 32. Then we divide by 3,600 on both sides. So I'm going to use a calculator this time. So x equals to, right, 3,600 x divided by 3,600, that's 1x. I don't bother to write 1x, just x. So hit into my calculator, 580 multiplied by 32 divided by 3,600. So I get 5.15555. So I'm gonna keep two decimal places. So 5.16 miles. Right. So that's for 4. Now let's see 5. So 5. Suppose strawberries cost 90.8 cents per pound. Again, unit rate. So 90.8 cents per 1 pound. Per pound means per 1 pound. You bought a basket of strawberries for $4.82. Right? So the question is asking, how many pounds did you buy? How many pounds did you buy? Because the pounds in the bottom, so we put an X on the bottom. And you spend $4.82. Again, we have cents, we have dollars. So we need to convert dollars into cents. So how do we do that? Remember, $1 equals to 100 cents. Actually use this sign for cents. So that means we need to multiply this by 100, right? So ignore the dollar sign. So erase the dollar sign. Now multiply this by 100. So then this also becomes cents, right? 482 cents. Right. So once we have that, we can do the calculation. Once the units aligned, we can do calculation. So we just cross multiply. Right. Multiply those two. Multiply these two. So we get a 90.8 times x equals to 4.82 times 100 times 1. Times 1 is nothing. Or if you want to write times 1, that's okay. Otherwise, just forget about it. Divide by 90.8 on both sides. The left-hand side give us x, 1x. So again, let's hit into the calculator. So I have 4.82 multiplied by 100. That's 482. Then divided by 90.8. So that gives me 5.308. So 308, I'm gonna carry on a to 0. So that's 5.31 pounds. All right. So that's for 5. So the $4.82 bought 5.31 pounds of strawberries. All right, so this question, you see those 3 questions. So the first 2 questions about percentage, 3, 4, 5, proportion equations. Let's say 6. Total 14 questions. Oh, 6, also proportion equation. Tom won something. Like, we don't care what it is. That's not important. Tom bid $3 for every dollar that Ishmael bid. So let's see. We're given a rate. The rate is Tom over Ishmael. So this is important. The logic there is important. So $3 for Tom, every dollar, which means $1 for Ishmael. So we have this rate, 3-1. Now, Tom on top, right? Bid of $2,418. So how much did Ishmael bid? How much did Ishmael bid? So we have this proportion equation again. So 4 questions about proportion equations. Cross multiply, 3 times x, get 3x, equals 1 times 2,418, divided by 3 on both sides. The x equals to, I'm going to hit into my calculator again, 2,418 divided by 3, I get 806. 806. Sorry, I have to, so. Yeah, please the element of possible, thank you. Sorry, that's my son's table game friends. They're playing table games. Okay, so yeah. So 6, the answer is $806, right? So when Tom beat 2,418, Ishmael beat 806 because the rate is 3-1 ratio. Okay, that's 6. Now maybe I can use this space. Okay, now let's see 7. Now let me use first. It's annoying. Now let's look at the 7. A new couch is for sale for $35 off. Again, of the original price. Original price is this much. So what is the sale price? Right? What is the sale price? So 35% off. So one way you could do is this is subtract from 100%. So you have to pay 65% of the original price, right? Well, what's the original price? We do 65% multiplied by 812. Well, that's 65% is 0.65 multiplied by 812. I'm going to hit into the calculator again, 0.65 multiplied by 812. So I get, let's, okay, 0.65 multiplied by 812. Okay, so I get $527.80, right? Right. And well, another way of doing this is you find out how much off, right? Because of 35% off, you could do 35% multiplied by 812 to like 0.35 times 812, you get $284.20. Then you subtract from the original price. Original price is 812. You minus 284.2. You also get $527.80. Okay, either way. But in either way, the answer should be $527.80. That's for 7. Now let's say 8. A friend lends you $340. which you agree to repay within a month with 7% one-time interest. So that's the first equation, right? First scenario, first formula we're using. How much will you have to repay, including interest? Well, $340 in total. So let's calculate the interest. Remember, interest equals to 340 multiplied by 7%. That's the interest. That's 340 multiplied by 0.07, right? Because 7% is 7 multiplied by 0.01. That's why you get a 0.07. Okay, so I'm going to hit into a calculator. 0.07 multiplied by 340. So I get $23.80. That's the interest. Well, because of how much we have to repay the whole thing, right? Including first you have to repay $340, then plus $23.80. So what do you get? You get a 363.8. So you have to repay $363.80. Right? The money you loaned, you borrowed, and the interest you agreed to pay. Now let's see 9. Marie can afford $325 per month. Car payment, keywords, car payment. So this tells us to use the loan formula, the last one, the number 5. And found a 5-year loan. So we know the letter N, right? This is kind of a per month. So this is a D, the payment, little payment every month. So this is R, 4.8% interest. So the first question, how expensive of a car can Marie afford? So this is looking for the P naught, right? So let's write down the formula first. So we have D, P naught equals D multiplied by 1 minus 1 plus R divided by K, raised by negative N times K. Numerator, denominator, we have R divided by K. So let's identify these variables. Remember 3 steps, right? Identify the formula, then find the corresponding variables, value for variables. So D, this D equals to 325. Let's substitute that. So P naught equals to 325 multiplied by 1 minus, well, let's calculate R over K. So R is this, right, that's R. So R equals to 0.048. What about K? Per month tells us K equals to 12, because 12 months in a year. N equals 5. Right, equals 5. Okay, so let's calculate. First, let's calculate R divided by K, because we have R divided by K here, R divided by K here. So R divided by K, we get 0.048 divided by 12. What's that? Let's hit into the calculator. 0.048 divided by 12. Right, this is 0. This is 0. Actually, it's obvious, right? 48 divided by 12 is 4, but I have to carry on the decimals. So 0.004. We have 0.048. 4.8, 0.048. That's right. 0.048. 0.0 should be 0.04. Why carry 2 zeros? 0.048 divided by 12. Oh, of course, wait. So be very careful. So the two zeros, 0.004. That's R divided by K. So now let's calculate another one. Let's calculate N times K. N is 5. 5 times 12, that's 60. Now let's plug in. We have 325, the little d is 325, open parentheses, 1 minus, open parentheses again. Then we have 1 plus, what's R divided by K? 0.004. Actually, we can do this. What was 1 plus that? Let's do 1 plus. Let's do 1 plus this. So 1 plus this. 1 plus this. Then we get a 1.004. So we get a 1. We get a 1.004 raised by negative. What's n times k? N times k is 60. So raised by negative 60. Close parentheses. Then divided by what's r divided by k? 0.004. 0.004. All right, now, so let's write down here. So now P naught equals to 325 multiplied by 1 minus, so what do we need to do? We need to hit into the calculator 1.004 raised by, let me find my raised by, raised by negative 60. No, that's not right. So you need, that's why we need a scientific calculator. So let me try one more time. 1.004 raised by negative 4. Where's the negative sign? Plus, oh, here. Negative, maybe. Negative 60. Okay, this looks right. So I get, so 1.004 raised by negative 60. I get 0.787 followed by 2 zeros. So I just forget about that. I keep these 3 decimals. Divided by 0.004. Now I do 1 minus that. 1 minus the number. 1 minus 0.787. I get a 325 multiplied by 0.213. Then divided by 0.04. So I'm gonna multiply this number by 325. Then I'm going to divide it by 0.04. So I'm getting a number $1,730 and 58 cents. 58A, so I'm carrying on, 50 becomes 59. So that's the answer for the first part of the question. So A, how expensive doesn't look right. Okay, I'm using because of the calculator sometimes, or maybe I made a mistake, or the calculator doesn't do well. This doesn't make sense. Look, each month, I pay $325 for 5 years, and each year have 12 months. So for 12, yeah, for 60 times, I'm paying 325. So this is not right amount, right? So I've made a mistake somewhere. Let's see, this is the 1.1 minus. Oh, yes. What's the mistake? I found my mistake. You see, this is 0.004. I'm missing 1 0 here, 0.004. So the decimal should be here. So it's 17,305. So that means if I'm able to pay $325 per month for the car payment, and this is how expensive the car I can afford. So I can afford a car costs $17,305.90. Okay. Okay, that's the first part. Now let's see B. How much total money will Marie pay the loan company? So each month she has to pay 325. For how many months? For 5 years, each year has 12 months, right? For 60 times. So we hit into a calculator, so 325 multiplied by 60. That's 19,000. That equals to 19,500. Right? So this is the total money Marie has to pay the loan company because each month she pays $325. And for 5 years and 12 months in a year. C. How much of the money is the interest? Well, total money she paid is 19,500. Subtract the loan amount, right? She only need this much loan. So $17,305.90. Just subtract those two. So subtract 17,305.9 to get $2,194.01. So that's the interest. That's the interest part. So how much she paid in total? Subtract the loan amount. It's the interest she paid. Okay, that's for 9. Now let's see 10. How much money will I need to have at a retirement? At a retirement keyword. So I can withdraw keyword. So pay out annuity, last formula, right? Formula 5 to use. Again, same formula as 9. Right? Same formula, pay out annuity. So withdraw this much. So each month, each year, per year. So per year means K equals to 1, right? Because 1 year in 1 year. And D is a withdraw. This is the D, withdraw, the little D. And this a year is a K. 35 years is the N. And the 8.4% is R. Right? So now we just have to put those variables into. So what are we looking for? How much money will I need to have the retirement? We're also looking for P naught. So we use pay out. So we use a formula. P naught equals to D multiplied by 1 minus 1 plus R divided by K raised by negative NK in the numerator divided by R divided by K. Right, let's calculate step by step. So we know D equals to 68,000. We know K equals to 1. We know R equals to 0.084. We know N equals to 35 years. So just plug in, right? Just plug in. Let me use this space. So we're looking for P naught. Right? P naught we don't know. So P naught equals to, we know D. D is 68,000. Then multiply by 1 minus, well, R divided by K. K is 1. So anything divided by 1 is itself. So 1 minus 1 plus 0.084. Because R divided by K equals to 0.084 divided by 1, which is just 0.084. Then this raised by, what about N times K? N times K. N is 35. K is 1. So still get 35. Raised by negative 35. That's the numerator. Denominator, we have r divided by k. R divided by k is 0.084. 0.084. Okay, now we have to do this one. We have to do the inside parentheses. 1 plus 0.084. So we just get 1 point. So we need to calculate 1.084 raised by negative 35. So let's hit into a calculator. 1.084 raised by negative 35. Right? Raised by negative 35. So this number itself is 0.0594258. 4258. Then, so that's this number. Then we have to subtract from 1. Okay? If we subtract from 1, subtract this from 1, we get, subtract from 1, we get 0.9405741, or maybe 42. So get this number. Then we multiply by this number. So we multiply, so P naught now equals to 68,000 multiplied by 0.9405742, then divided by 0.084. Okay, so I multiply this number by 68 follow 3 zeros, then I divided by 0.084. Wow, a huge number, big number. So I get a 7,614,117.2. So which means if I want to withdraw $68,000 per year, when I retire for 35 years with this interest, 8.4 interest, I need to have this much money in my retirement account, $761,417.20 in my account. So if I have this much money in my retirement account, that would allow me to withdraw each year for $68,000 for next 35 years. All right, that's number 10. So 9 and 10 both use the last formula, right? Now let's see 11. You deposit $1,200 in an account earning 8 interest compounded annually. How much will you have in that account in 25 years? So which formula to use? Compound, right? Amount of money equals to initial investment multiplied by 1 plus interest rate divided by how many times compound, then raised by how many years multiplied by K. So deposit 1,200, that's P naught in this case. 8% is little r. Compound annually means K equals to 1. Right? Compound annually. How much will you have in 25 years? N equals 25. Or just plug in. So P naught is 1,200 multiplied by 1 plus R divided by K. R is 8%, 0.08. Divided by R, divided by K, K is 1. Raised by N, 25 times K, K is 1. So simplify a little bit, that's 1,200 times 1 plus 0.08 raised by 25. Well, that is just 1,200 multiplied by 1 plus 0.08 is 1.08 raised by 25. So we have to calculate this number first, right? Because this one carries exponent. So we have to hit into a calculator 1.08 raised by 25. Raised by 25 first. So that number is 6.8485. Then we use this number multiplied by 1200. Okay, to get $8,218.17. All right, so if you press into calculator 1200 first, then multiply by 1.08, then raise by 25, that would be wrong. So you have to calculate the exponent first. Okay, so that means that's 11. That means if you deposit $1,200 in an account earning 8% interest compounded annually, in 25 years, you would get $8,218.17. Does that make sense? That doesn't make sense. That means my calculator failed. Why? 25 years. Oh, yes, it makes sense because we only deposit once. So this is 1,200, we only deposit once. So in 25 years, we get $8,218. All right, so that's 11. Now let's erase this. Let's move up. We have 3 more questions to go, then we'll be done. Now let's see 12. So 11 use compound interest. You have $1,250,000 saved for retirement. For retirement, right? So either use 4 or 5. So which one we use? Your account earns this. That's a little r interest. How much will you be able to withdraw? Keyword withdraw. Right? So we use a 5 again. We use a payout annuity again. Because it didn't ask you how much you need to deposit. If it's how much we need to deposit in order to get this much money, we would use number 4 formula. But because we're considering how much can we withdraw, so that's the payout, that's number 5, P naught. So all those, right, so 9, 11, 9, 10, 12, 3 of them use the same formula. So let's write here. So P naught, again, equals D, but this D now represents withdrawal. 1 minus 1 plus R divided by K, raised by negative NK, over R divided by K. So let's identify R. So P naught is given. P naught equals 1,250,000. And what else given? R is given 0.076, which is 7.6%. Withdraw each month. K is given 12 months in a year. You want to be next 30 years. N is given 30 years. So looking for this withdrawal. How much can we withdraw? We're looking for this D here. Oh, let's put into the formula. So we have 12, 5, followed by 4 zeros. Then that equals to, we don't know D, we're trying to find out D. So 1 minus, let's calculate R divided by K first. So R divided by K equals 0.076 divided by 12. Let's hit into the calculator. 0.076 divided by 12. Oh yeah, very annoying number. 0.0676. 0.076 divided by 12. So we get 0.0063 goes on forever. We put a bar on top of 3. Then you see this will have 1 plus, right? Let's add 1 to this. 1 plus, 1 plus. So we do 1 plus, so we get a 1.0063. Then this number, 1.0063 bar, we want to raise by negative NK, well, N times K, 360, right? 3 times 12, 36, add a 0, 360. Raised by negative 360. So let's hit into a calculator. This number 1.0063333 raised by negative 360. That's not right. The calculator, so we have to use our judgment. That's not right. So I get 1.0063333 raised by negative 360. Yeah, this looks right. So this number gives me 0.1030223. Okay. Then I subtract 1 from it. So do 1 minus this, do 1 minus this. Then I get 0.8969776. All right. So we have calculated this whole thing. Right, this whole thing. So now P naught, so that equals 1 minus, actually we don't have to do 1 minus anymore. We do 0.8969776. Then divided by R divided by K. What's R divided by K? 0.0063333. So we just divide this number by 0.0063333 to get D multiplied by 141.628. Keep 3 decimals. So this I will still have 1,025,000. Now to find a D, both sides we need to divide by 141.628. 141.628. So D equals to 125 million. Oops. Divided by 141.628. So we get 8,825.94. I rounded up, I rounded 8 to 3. Okay, so that's 12. 12 is saying if, right? If the retirement account has $1,250,000 in it with 7.5% interest rate offered, and for next 30 years, and each month, a person can withdraw $8,825.94. All right, that's 12. Now let's see 13. So 13, keyword, certificate of deposit, right? So we know it's a saving instrument that many banks offer. It usually gives a higher interest rate, but you cannot access your investment for a specified length of time. Suppose now, keyword, you deposit $85,000 in CD. CD is a one-time deposit. Okay, CD is one-time deposit, so P naught equals to 8,500. So we either use a compound or use a simple. Now, interest rate is given, R is given, 9.5%, or 0.095. Compounded monthly compound interest, right? So K equals to 12. How much will you have in account for 10 years? Again, we're using this compound interest. So same as 11, I think question 11, we use the compound interest formula. So that equals P naught multiplied by 1 plus R divided by K raised by N times K. So let's identify the variables, right? We already have R. Let's calculate R divided by K. R is 0.095 divided by 12. So 0.095 divided by 12. And we get 0.0079166 goes on forever. This is round up to 7. And then we have 1 plus this number. So let's do 1 plus this number. 1 plus this number. 1 plus this number. Just change 0 to be 1.0079167. Now we raise this number. Now let's do NK, right? So calculate this number, then raise by NK. Now we raise this number by N times K. What's N times K? N equals to 10 years. So multiply by these two, get 120. So raise by 120. So we do this number, raise by 120. Raise by 120. So we get 2.576. So now A equals to initial deposit is 8,500. So that's P naught, 8,500. Then multiply by 2.576. Right, just multiply by 8,500. So this to get $21,896 and 47 cents or 48 cents. Right, that's it. So in the certificate deposit, if you deposit $8,500, paying 9.5% interest compounded monthly, in 10 years, you would get $21,896.47. All right, that's 13, last one. 14 has 2 parts. Leandra bought a loan about a house. It was this much. And she paid 20% down payment. So when you buy a house, usually you have down payment. So that's what is down payment, which means the money from yourself. Okay. And then you make loans, the rest you make loans. So if this person put 20% down, let's see how much is 20% down. Or we could think this way. If she put a 20%, so 20% down here, that means she need 80% loan, right? The total is 100%. The price of the house is 100%. So that means we can calculate P naught. Again, this is about loan, right? So we know to use equation 5. So we need to figure out the P naught. So P naught is 80% of the price of the house, which is 225,000. 80%. Because 20% down out of her own pocket. So 80% is how much loan she needs. So let's do that. That's 0.8 multiplied by this house price. So 0.8 multiplied by 225. How many zeros? 3 zeros. That's 180,000. So she needs to loan this much. That's P naught. Right? So A is find her monthly payments. So remember the P naught equation. P naught. So this is a loan, but paying out loan, right? So how much we need to pay? 1 minus 1 plus R divided by K. Again, use the same formula. Divided by R divided by K. So let's plug in. So we have, so P naught is this one, is 180,000. Because we're looking for payment, we're looking for D. The 1 minus 1 plus R divided by K. R is, what is R? 5.6% with 0.056. Because it's a monthly payment, so K equals to 12. Divided by negative how many years? 30 years. Times K is 12. Then divided by 0.056 divided by 12. Okay, now let's do R divided by K. R divided by K is 0.056 divided by 12. That gives us, let's hit into the calculator, 0.056 divided by 12. Again, very annoying number. So we get a 0.0046, goes on forever. Then we plus 1 to this. We add a 1 to it. Add a 1 to it, just this 0 becomes 1. Right. Then we raise by 30 times 12, 360 again. So we raise by negative 360. So we hit into a calculator 1.00466666 raised by negative 360. Negative 360. So we'll get a number 0.187108. Then we subtract 1 from it because we have this 1 subtract, right? 1 subtract this number. So get a 1 subtract this number. So subtract from 1. Yeah. I have to do one more time. So 1.00466666 raised by negative 360. I get a 0.812. So this inside the numerator. So let's do that one more time. 0 equals to 1 minus that D multiplied by 0.81285 divided by R divided by K. R divided by K is 0.0046, goes on forever. So let's do that. Let's use this number divided by 0.0046666. So we get this equal D multiplied by number 174.1922. Okay, now we do D equals to 180,000 divided by this number 174.1922. So let's do that. So let's do 180 followed by 4 zeros divided by 174.1922. Okay, finally, the monthly payment is about $1,033.34. Right, so the questions, how many questions we have? We have 4 questions that use this formula. Anyway, B. So the second part is B. How much interest will she pay over the life of the loan? Well, let's calculate how much money she paid in total. So total money she paid, each month she has to pay, we just find out, right? This is each month she has to pay $1,033.34. For how much? For how many months? For 30 years, and 30 years, each year has 12 months. So we need to multiply this by 360. So we get 372,002.88. So in total, because each month she has to pay $1,033.34, and she has to pay for 30 years. Each year has 12 months. So for 30 years, her total amount of money she paid is $372,002.88. But how much did she loan? She loaned 180,000. So we use this number minus 180,000 to get the interest she paid. So subtract those two numbers. 88 cents to 0, 0. Borrow 1 or 2 minus 0, 2. Borrow 1 from here, 17 minus 8, 9. 2 minus 1, 1. So for $192,002.88, she paid is an interest part. Okay, that finished the whole review, and hopefully this makes sense for you. But do spend time on this to study this, okay? Because I'm gonna ask you to make corrections on your exam. I'm gonna give you back exams on next Tuesday. All right, see you next Tuesday. And have a good weekend.